Hello, and welcome to this first edition of a video podcast from the Barbican Sabreurs Wine Society. We're a group of Barbican residents who certainly wouldn't consider ourselves wine experts, but we do have one thing in common, and that's a passion for wine. And we thought it would be a great idea if we shared our views with our fellow Barbican residents on some of the wines we've been drinking lately, along with showing you some of the great places we've visited in our quest for great wine. And we'll be doing that through having a regular feature in Barbican Life, as well as by having these video podcasts. My name's James, and I'm a relative newbie to the Barbican, having lived in the Barbican for just over 3 years. But I'm joined here today by my friend Nick, who's more of a Barbican veteran, having been in the Barbican for over 8 years. So Nick, where are we today?
Well, James, we are in the glorious Sussex countryside at the vineyard estate of Leonard's Lee. Very conveniently, we jumped on the Thames Link service to Horsham Station, and then from the station it was only 3 miles to come to the vineyard estate of Leonard's Lee. Amazingly, we discovered this fantastic, idyllic place full of beautiful news and scenery and wine culture, along with so many activities: golf, history, cuisine, and guided by Adam, who is here teaching us the best thing to do.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you for coming, and thank you for having me. So welcome all to Leonard's Lee. So we are a family-owned wine estate run by the amazing Penny Street at OBE. We introduce to you Leonard's Lee Family Vineyards. But if you'd like, we can take a little journey up to the vineyards. We can show you the vines and show you what we've got to offer.
I've seen some vineyards actually have some fires burning to try and ward off the frost. Have you thought of that?
Yeah, we have. And we've actually got, in some of the areas where the fans won't deal with, we do have some lanterns and sort of tea candles positioned in and amongst the vines. And what that does is just keeps the ground temperature slightly above freezing. We will try some of our wines. First up, we've got our Blanc de Blanc from 2020. So this was our maiden harvest, so 100% Chardonnay from a very good vintage in the English wine industry history. And this is our sort of signature wine. So Blanc de Blanc, as I said, mostly all Chardonnay, and that is our grape variety that we have the highest planting of here over in our vineyards. And it's the wine that we're most proud of. So it spent 36 months aging in the bottle to give it that little bit more texture, that little bit more richness and character.
The flavor is so remarkable.
So moving on to our second wine, and here we have what is known as our sort of house style, so our Brut Reserve. So this is the first of 2 blends. Again, predominantly Chardonnay, because that's what we're most proud of and that's what shines best in our vineyards. So 70%, 20% Pinot Noir and 10% Pinot Meunier.
It might be sacrilege, but I could almost imagine having fish and chips with this.
That's
absolutely.
With tartar sauce, imagine the contrast of the strength of tartar sauce with a great, tasty, fresh.
So moving on to the final of the 3, which is our Brut Rosé.
So we've had an absolutely fantastic day here down at the Leonard's Lee Wine Estate. If anyone from the Barbican does want to come down to Leonard's Lee, I've just asked Adam what actually are the experiences that you can have at the estate here.
Yeah, so we've got a wide range of experiences with both our South African and our English wine brands. You can do everything from a vineyard tour and tasting, all to tours and tastings that include things like afternoon teas, dinners and brunches, or then one of our most popular experiences, our full-day Lennersley Ultimate experience, which incorporates everything from tours, foods, overnight stays, and is a real great value experience to be had. And what we can do as well for any residents of the Barbican that do want to come down, we will put a discount code in the link along with the details of how to book that itself as well.
If you do want to come down to Lennersley, that the wine estate is linked with Lennersley Lake and Gardens, and whilst it's all part of the same family, it is possible to go with the full experience to the Lake and Gardens resort. And I think they actually have wallabies there, Adam?
They do, yes. They've got everything from acres of ancient woodland gardens, 7 different lakes, a Michelin-starred restaurant and a wallaby enclosure.
For Nick and myself to thank Adam for a fabulous day. And
Thank you, Adam.
Absolute pleasure.
It was great, and to learn so much on wine, and especially the very top golden tradition of the New English wine that we can taste, toast and celebrate in Sussex countryside.
It was a pleasure having you both.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Barbican Sabreurs Wine Podcast, hosted by James and Nick. So Nick, where are we today?
Wow, James, we are at Barfoot Winery. Guess what? We didn't take any flight this morning, we didn't go overseas, but a comfortable train service from London Bridge Station, 47 minutes I think, to be greeted by one of the shuttles organized by the winery, coming here in a couple of minutes, maybe 6-7, and being in paradise.
Now, if you live in the Barbican, the name Balfour may actually ring a bell with you. And that's because the Balfour Group actually own quite a few bars and wine bars throughout the whole country. In fact, in the city, they've got 2 wine bars, one at St Bart's and one just by St Mary Le Bow Church. So you don't need to travel to the vineyard to actually sample their wines. You can actually go to the local wine bars. But frankly, on a lovely day like this, there's nothing better than actually just coming out here to the vineyard and sampling some of their great wine right next door to the vineyard and the vines themselves.
Coming here, enjoying this paradise. What do you think, James?
Paradise is exactly the right word for it. So even though where we are is actually called Balfour Winery, they produce a lot more than just wine. And what we have in front of us now is a selection of lager, IPA and cider. So should we start with the lager?
Why not, James? That's a very good idea. Let's taste first.
Yeah.
Let's see how it... Let's try the second glass, can we? Apparently it's a Barfoot IPA.
Yeah, just look at the colour on that.
Let's taste.
The last one in this tasting flight, looking at it, you could very easily be forgiven for thinking this is actually sparkling wine. But actually, this is the Balfour cider.
Toast first and taste.
Well, Nick, I think with this spread in front of us, that should be enough to soak up the alcohol. We've got a whole selection of locally produced food. We've got some flatbreads, we've got charcuterie, local cheeses. We've got enough for any vegetarian. Really fantastic spread.
Thank you, James. And look at the handmade bread. So yummy, so delicious. Bon appetit.
Signature Pinot Noir. This is not long just come out. The winemaker, Fergus, he was so impressed by the wine, he was so proud of it, he signed it. So this is his signature on there. That's why it's called Signature Pinot Noir.
Salute.
So we've got 6 of our different wines here, gents. So a good selection, and you've got some little tasting notes alongside there that can help you out. So this is what we do with our self-guided tastings. So guests can order these, and then you can read the tasting notes, and you can kind of do it at your own leisure at your table whilst you're having lunch, essentially. So on there, you've got 4 different sparkling wines, and then you've got 2 of our stills as well.
Let's try some of the wines, I think.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Which order would you recommend we try them in?
I would suggest starting with the Balfour Brut Rosé, just purely because that is our flagship. And then if you're working around from there, if you work clockwise around, so you go on to the Blanc de Noir and then through the sparklings, and then I'd come around to the stills afterwards.
Okay, yeah.
So that is our 2020 vintage. And this wine actually also very recently won gold at the English Wine Awards.
So should we then go on to the Leslie's Reserve Brut?
I would say so, yes.
And Leslie was the founder, was she?
Yeah, Leslie is the founder, yeah.
And she's still running the place now?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
20-something years on.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I suppose at the end, the family name is all across the bottles, isn't it, here? So
This is probably one of our best vineyards to date.
Yes.
Complete variety of wines. You've not only got the sparkling, you've got the still wines, and quite unusually for a southeastern vineyard, you've got some very interesting reds. I think the 2022 Pinot Noir red was really quite exceptional, and I'd thoroughly recommend that to Barbican residents.
Yeah.
And even if you can't come down here by train, you've just got some Barts and you've got some Mary Le Beau Church wine bars to try this amazing wine. And finally, thanks very much to Ben and Matt for guiding us through these amazing wines.
no problem at all. Thank you, gents.
Thank you guys, and thank you for the top presentation.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Barbican Sabreurs video podcast. Now, to date, we've only really covered vineyards, but this edition, we're shaking things up. As you can see, there's no vines around us. So where are we today, Nick?
Thank you, James. Surprise, surprise. We are just around the corner, our estate, few minutes walk from the Barbican in Paternoster Square, where thanks to Josh, they just opened the Vagabond.
Yeah.
Josh, first of all, thank you very much for guesting us here.
Yeah, appreciate
and thank you for discovering we are neighbors.
Yes.
We both live with James,
all live.
all of us,
John Trundle Court.
in John Trundle Court. And please, could you tell us a bit of history of the place? Because I heard very fantastic news and a very top passion about the wine. Please, I'll leave it with you.
Yeah, so basically Vagabond was started by this guy called Stephen Finch. He's an American man, moved over in early 2000s. And his issue was with the main wine bars is that they all did sort of your standard wines and you'd have it by 127, 175, and it's all bottles and that sort of thing. What he wanted to do is get niche, something different, and that you could try loads of different wines at the same time. So what we did was with this, we have samples. So you'll see in all the machines a 25 milliliter, 125 and 175. So you can try loads of different wines without having to just spend on a bottle. And also try as many different wines as possible, which is the main part. Now, unlike a lot of other wine bars, what we do is not just classics. We have a vast selection of wines. However, my personal favorite is our Ortega. And what's really interesting about this Ortega is not only is it basically a German wine now grown in the UK, but it's also part of our own winemaking process that we had in the Battersea Power Station. If you'd like to try it, it's really wonderful. So it has these lovely elements of stone fruit, citrus, it's a bit herbaceous, and the finish, it very much falls off. It's very clean, very quick.
Tell us something about the pouring system, because obviously you've got open bottles of wine here. I mean, normally wine bottles don't last that long once they've been opened.
Yeah.
Tell us something about the delivery system.
Yeah, so you can't see them now, but under these sort of boards here, we have these big argon gas tanks. And what it does is with the pipes you can see in the machine, it compresses basically air, so it traps the oxygen so it can't escape. Therefore, it makes the wine slower to basically oxidize.
So it's a sort of under vacuum system.
Yes.
If you're coming in here and you're a wine novice and you're looking around, you've got maybe 100 bottles on display here.
Yeah.
So how do you go about choosing?
Yeah, so as you can see, we do it by style, and the reason being, I think that by doing it by country and grape, sometimes you can get complete different variations. You know, you wouldn't say the same Pinot Noir from, for instance, New Zealand is exactly the same as your classic big oaked red Pinot Noir. So something like this, we do it by style. What it does is it simplifies the kind of things you like. So if you do like lip stinger, Picpoul de Panay, then of course you might like some of the other sort of Villarejos, Ortega, Vino Verde, Pinot Grigio, all that sort of thing. So it's basically trying to narrow down your wine preference with a style rather than a country that could have a lot of variation.
Let's try some sparkling.
Cool. So a really lovely one is the Artelium. So this is a 50% Chardonnay, sorry, Pinot Noir, 33% Chardonnay, and 17% Meunier. So obviously mostly on Chard, which means you're going to get a lot more front-forward fruit, a bit more acid. It's a classic Sussex English sparkling wine. Really, really wonderful 2018. These are brilliantly well made.
And remind me the name of the vineyard?
So it's Artelium.
Artelium, okay.
We've collaborated with them for a couple of years now, and they make some really wonderful Sussex English sparkling wines.
Impeccable, impeccable.
There's real body to this.
Yeah, yeah. And freshness as well.
Yeah.
We have these sort of big steak sharing plates as well. We have a Italian summer selection. We also have the sort of classic, so the charcuterie boards and the cheese boards. So if you don't want just to have small plates, you can have massive selection plates for your friends.
So a big thank you to Josh and to Vagabonds for having organised this event for us. It's been a really good evening.
Josh, of course, thank you so much. Please, I leave with you with the final golden word. Is something that you can suggest to all of us, please.
Well, I just want to say, obviously, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. As we all live in the Barbican, I think it's really important for us to enjoy our time while we're there and also become more of a community than we already are. And sharing a glass with your friend, with your family, with each other, is possibly one of the best things in life to do. So I invite you to please come more often.
Can we do a big toast to...
And also, don't forget the 15% discount for BA car members.
Absolutely.
Barbican Association, not British Airways.
No, British Airways.
A big toast to Josh. Thank you so very much for this great discovery tonight.
Thank you very much, Mark.
We'll be back very, very soon.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Very much.